Afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this meeting of Cabinet. Let's crack right on with the agenda. You've got the advice on the screen there, just in case we have any emergencies. Please make sure you're familiar with that. Moving to the agenda, apologies. Submit an apology for Councillor Nicholson, who's attending a meeting of the Local Transport Board. I don't think he's going to make this meeting. He's not going to be able to get back in time. I think other than that, everyone is here. Next item is declarations of interest. Has anyone got any declarations they want to make in relation to any items on the agenda this afternoon? No, thank you. Questions from the public. Do we have any?
No, we don't.
No, thank you very much then. Chair's urgent business. I'm not aware of any. No, fine, thank you. So we can move to the substantive item for this afternoon, which is the plan for libraries. And at this point I'd like to... Sorry?
To do the minutes.
Apologies, yeah, sorry, I've missed something here, haven't we? It's the minutes of the meeting that we had last time, which was on... Just get the right date here, because we've had several, haven't we? 30th of May. I'm assuming you've all read those. Everyone happy that they're true, accurate record?
Yes,
yes. Right, thank you. So now we can move to the item plan for libraries. So I'll start again and welcome Councillor Bowie. Welcome, Sally. Nice to have you with us this afternoon. I know that you and your colleagues, because I was there personally, so I know you did a piece of work on from the scrutiny perspective. So would you like to present your recommendations? Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Welcome, everyone. Following the motion of notice at Council on the 30th of January, put forward by the Labour Group with the support of officers, I called a select committee review to the plan for libraries. The committee met after the closure of the public consultation to ensure that the results were available for members of the committee. The meeting took place on the 15th of May and the committee reviewed the plan for libraries, consultation, analysis and received written representations from the community and councillors. Chair, you don't need me to give you the facts. Everyone here is aware that while central government are happy to cut local authority finances to the bone, statutory services such as the library service must continue to be delivered. This leaves a council such as Plymouth with all the responsibilities but with none of the money. It makes it almost impossible to ensure that all of our citizens benefit from a modern library service, which not only allows them to borrow books, but also to improve their life changes through the access to information, technology and other learning opportunities. Councils across the country have taken different approach to this dilemma, such as the Conservative Devon County Council have decided to protect their entire library services through a trust. Others, such as this Conservative administration, have proposed taking a hatchet to the library service, reducing it from 17 to 7. Chair, you have our recommendations, so I will just touch briefly on a few. The committee, on the basis of the reports from the officers, noted that statutory consultation, independent analysis of the results have been carried out in line with all our responsibilities under the Equalities Act and guidance in relation to the Libraries Act. However, the committee also expressed a significant disappointment on the level of response to the consultation, in particular with the response from children and young current library service. A view echoed by some of our witnesses, such as the principal of Torbridge High, who stated that the facilities available in Estover need to be advertised, particularly to the new housing development nearby. Whilst you have noted our comments, I hope in the future we will see a more enhanced consultation process, with much improved response rates and a greater improved marketing strategy for library services. The committee also raised significant concerns over the lack of weighting within the criteria, such as the access to libraries. Members felt that where opening hours and a number of computers directly affected the criteria, with some weight should have been applied. I have noted the Cabinet's response, but still feel that even providing a percentage of available computer hours used, rather than a whole number with no context, would have been an improvement to the assessment criteria. The criteria today compares apples with pears. Our small libraries in deprived neighbourhoods with limited resource operate differently to the larger universal offers in the city centre, Plympton and Plymstock. The committee felt that the criteria on which the access of libraries needed to reflect the outcomes you hope to achieve through this process. Imagine a community that has just been told that their local library is going to be closed. In this community, there are people out of work, single-parent households, young mothers struggling to look after their toddlers. They might have a smartphone if they're lucky, and if they're very unlucky, they will have a car. There are people from whom a trip to the city of Plymouth or a journey of a few miles take a lot of time, a lot of energy, and for them a lot of cost. Buses are not free. Re-providing their local library with something a few miles away is an effect of removing the service from them. Libraries in communities such as West Park, Efford, Ernie Settle, North Prospect can help to provide equality of opportunity. The criteria used in assessing our library service should have identified the libraries best placed to provide the equalities in the future, rather than being based on an out-of-context historic footfall and computer usage. Removing them now risks the life changes for future generations in these communities. Chair, there are a number of other recommendations of our expectations of what information you should make available to Council when they take the final decision. I, for one, will not be supporting any plan for libraries which do not have the plans for its implementation and communication attached. Our recommendation always seeks to help rather than hindrance, and it is my expectation that as a result of the recommendations from my committee, at least some, if not all, the libraries currently proposed for closures will be saved. That being said, I would suggest that if you change the list of proposed closures, the consultation and overall plan should be looked at again, as I expect that any changes to the current list of closures would have a material impact on whatever library services remain and in those areas, which despite our best efforts will close their local libraries. Thank you for your response. Thank you for your attendance at the Select Committee review meetings, and thank you for your time today.
Thank you, Councillor Bowie. I'm sad that you use emotive language like hatchet. I think there are many examples around the country where far more rigorous and extensive plans have been put forward by other councils, and this council certainly isn't in that sort of category. You mentioned Exeter. I think if you and your colleagues look at that, that hasn't been without its difficulties as well, and that featured in the local media coverage in Exeter, some of the problems they'd had around the libraries under the new trust system that you highlighted. However, I'm conscious that Dave Saunders is here. Dave, is there anything at this point that you want to add? Because I think you were also present at that scrutiny session.
I've got nothing really to add, just to thank the scrutiny part of the process, and which will, as we've always said, will inform the final plan. And I think the wealth of the public opinion came across really strongly, and that was certainly considered and will be considered in the final plan as we draw it out.
Thank you. Right, Councillor Jordan, on behalf of Cabinet, can I ask you to respond, please?
Yeah, thank you, Leader. I actually agree with Dave Saunders that, like I said, the scrutiny was very positive. It's a shame that the tone of the report that has come over in this meeting has actually probably tarnished that slightly, because I actually thought that the whole process was very positive. They actually have fed back some really good ideas into the process that we are looking at, and this is an issue that should have been looked at many years ago and hasn't. And the fact that now it is being turned into political football, when actually what we're trying to do is actually protect services, and we're actually trying to increase the amount of people who are actually using the library service. I find it very sad that actually that some people are trying to use this to score points. We have laid out our position for on all the points that have been raised. We have noted the one about the consultation, but I've been on this council now 17 years, and I think this is the most in-depth consultation that I have ever been involved with or ever seen within this council. For actually to have at least one cabinet member attending each one of the public meetings and also the workshops, and even though we may not have been there for the whole of it, because I did have to leave Plymstock 1 early, there was an opportunity there for the public to actually come and speak to the decision makers. It was the first time I've actually come across that within this council, and I think it goes to show that how seriously we took this issue, and that that we don't make these decisions lightly. And in the end of what we do want is to protect the library service and actually make it better for more people. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Jordan. Any other cabinet members wish to add any comments at this stage? No. Right. Councillor Bowie, thank you for your comments. Councillor Jordan, thank you for your response. We'll now move to Cabinet next Tuesday in a week's time, when we will bring the final plan for libraries, having listened to all the outcome and all the comments that have been made over the last numerous number of weeks, and we'll bring that plan then in a week's time to Cabinet prior to submission, as we agreed, to full council on the 3rd of July. So at that point, I need to ask Cabinet, would you please note the contents of this report? Noted?
Yes.
Thank you. And that concludes this item of business and concludes the meeting this afternoon. Thank you very much. Thank you all for your attendance.